Hello, hello, hello. There's been a number of these sorts of videos floating around the old YouTube fairly recently, as it's that time of the year when Football Manager 19, or rather the new Football Manager, is just around the corner and people are getting all excited. It's a regular question I get asked within my streams. I don't know who to be. I don't know what I want to do for a save. So, this is the start of a series of suggestions, or top fives, of teams in various divisions that you may want to try when the new game drops. This is top 5 Premier League teams to manage. These are in no order particularly, but let's start off with Team 1, which is Arsenal. For the first time in 20 odd years, you have the opportunity to take over Arsenal with a fresh slate. No more Wenger. Unai Emery has started off pretty well at his time at Arsenal, but you can roll the clock back a little bit and imagine what might have been had he have not taken over and you had instead. You'll have a sizable transfer budget, as well as having some of Emery's transfers that he's already made. But it could be quite an interesting save to see if you can do better than Arsene has done for the past few and maybe win some silverware. In terms of difficulty, this is maybe one for the newbies to start off with. You're going to have money to spend, you've got a good team to start off with, but the added pressure of winning silverware, having spent money, could prove a bit problematic for you if you're a bit inexperienced. Team number 2 then, Burnley. Oh, I can't believe I've included Burnley, but this is, again, another sort of unique opportunity. So Burnley finished in the highest league position they had done since 1974, which is a long time ago. And they've also qualified for Europe again for the first time in what, 51 years? Crazy stuff. So you have a unique opportunity. Now, in real life, Burnley's foray into Europe has ended already, having been knocked out by Olympiacos. But could you do better than Mr. Dyche? And can you improve upon the 7th place that Burnley got last season with very little money? Lots of challenges. Again, expectation is going to be there because you finished fairly well, having finished in 16th the prior season, having only ensured that you were going to play in the Premiership for consecutive seasons for the first time since 1976. I wonder what the board are going to be expecting. This is a save for perhaps one of the more experienced managers amongst you, with one of the big difficulties being deciding how to play. Are you going to continue on Sean Dyche's legacy by playing quite robust, rudimentary football that obviously works, or will you try to reinvent the wheel and try to play something a bit more expansive and creative with players that he's obviously bought and moulded to play his way? The choice is yours. Team number 3, Cardiff. This is an obvious one of the recently promoted teams into the Premiership from the Championship, having finished 2nd in the Championship last season. They are the team that has invested the least. I think they have the lowest transfer and wage budget for the Premier League this year, or at least seemingly by the amount that they've spent or lack of. You'd be replacing Neil Warnock, who very similarly to Sean Dyche has a particular way of playing. He has a history of getting promoted and then not doing so well. But we won't mention Carlos Tevez or Javier Mascherano to him because, well, don't want to deal with him when he's angry. In real life, Cardiff have really struggled to get going and they are currently sat bottom of the Premier League, which I guess was to be expected. They've really not played particularly well at all. Your challenge, if you wish to accept it, would be to attempt to prevent them from being relegated. This again is one for the more experienced players, I'd imagine. So, team number 4 is Fulham. In comparison to Cardiff, Fulham have spent quite a lot of money. A 4-year absence from the Premier League, having gone up through the playoffs last season. That playoff win was the first time they've ever won at Wembley in their 139-year history, which is bonkers. There are some shrewd signings in this Fulham side. You've got Andre Schürrle on loan from Borussia Dortmund for 2 years, which if they happen to get relegated could be a bit risky. Although I'm assuming there's some form of clause in there that lets him go back if they do happen to go down again. You've also got the likes of Luciano Vietto on loan from Atletico, another really quite a sensible signing. And how could I forget Jean-Michel Seri, who joined Fulham ahead of everyone else in the summer, although he hasn't really produced his best so far this season in real life. And then you've also got promising English players, the likes of Ryan Sessegnon, Alfie Mawson, and you've also got the younger Sessegnon brother as well. I would expect with the amount that Fulham have invested and also the players that they've brought in, should be more than enough to at least avoid relegation. Maybe if you can get a bit of additional firepower up front, a team with lots of potential, decent amount of financial support, and not ridiculously high expectations. This is one for everyone. And the final one, number 5. Now this is a bit of a surprise. For some, maybe. Manchester City. You could say they're one of the richest clubs in the world, and you're probably not wrong. But you could make this quite a challenging save if you employ the right parameters. If you decide to go homegrown and do something that City haven't really been able to do other than Phil Foden, and that is bring through youth prospects from their own developmental team into the first team instead of spending the buku bucks that they obviously have. You could go about trying to beat what Pep is trying to do. Maybe play his same tactics, but do it better. Beat what he achieved last year, beat the points total he achieved last year, and just continue to beat Pep, basically. Do what he couldn't and go unbeaten, and see how long you can go unbeaten for. That makes it quite challenging. Or maybe you could go for the antithesis of his whole tactical approach and go basically play Burnley ball instead and do 4-4-2 and just be ridiculous and completely throw everything to the wayside and go very traditional and completely uncultured. But the choice obviously is yours. There's 5 teams from the Premier League, some of which you'd probably expect, some of which you maybe didn't. But there's some ideas for you there, and I've tried to sow some little seeds of narrative, maybe, but a variety of difficulties. Obviously, City could be very easy if you just go about spending as much money as possible, but equally it could be a bit more difficult should you decide to impose something a bit more challenging upon yourself. Hopefully you found this little video useful, and it's maybe given you a few little ideas about a save that you might want to do, whether it's for the beta or for once the main game drops on the 2nd of November. So that's what I think could be 5 top saves to start off in the Premier League for a variety of different abilities of Football Manager and different levels of experience. But what do you think? Let me know in the comment section down below whether you agree, disagree, doesn't really matter, or if you've got any of your own suggestions as to what others might want to choose if they need a bit of save inspiration. I have got some more top 5 teams to manage videos coming up, so keep your eyes firmly peeled on this very channel. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Whoa. Before you go, don't forget to leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, turn on notifications, follow me on Twitter and on Twitch, join the Weestrom FM Discord, and listen to the 5-Star Potential podcast. All of the links will be in the description down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ta!